Gentlemen and ladies, welcome back to Guilty Gear. Today we'll talk about Testament, who changed a lot in the transition from accent core to plus R. Going back to his older style from XX, reload, and slash, Testament focuses on controlling the screen with traps and setting up effective Okizeme mix-ups. I'm Carlos, and you're watching episode 23 of Guilty Bits. Testament is a defensive zoner. In neutral situations, he can't really create good pressure. Instead, he excels in making it very hard for the opponent to approach. His normals are not very fast, but have long range, which makes them good at half screen. Far S has a very good hitbox, and is Testament's main poke. Crouching S is worse, but used to take care of low profile moves that go under Far S. His returning down forward H may be a bit slow, but it's his farthest reaching normal and can be used sparingly as a poke, but its main use is to help convert hits from afar into combos. Forward H is fast, has long range, and prevents opponents from jumping away, but Testament can be punished on block unless he FRCs the move or covers its recovery with one of his projectile specials. Testament may not have a good jump in normal, but he has some of the better air-to-air attacks in the game if he can maintain the proper spacing to use them. Jumping S has a great hitbox, allowing it to outright beat many opposing air attacks. Jumping D is more vulnerable, but its range is much bigger and so are the rewards when it hits. Most of Testament's projectiles don't advance towards the opponent. Instead, they stay in place as traps, making it hard for the opponent to approach. Hitomi quickly plants a tree under Testament's feet that will grow and hit the opponent when they move over it. On hit, it launches the opponent for an air combo, even when it hits off the ground. To get rid of it, the opponent must either get into its range and block, move high in the air above it to make it activate and whiff, or hit Testament, which immediately deactivates all trees. Testament can set up to 2 trees at the same time. The nest places an invisible net on the screen and can also be done in the air. If the opponent touches it, it freezes them in place, allowing Testament to approach and continue a combo. Since the net doesn't deactivate if Testament is hit, setting up nets in key positions can stop opponents during combos and serve as valuable life insurance. On the other hand, they can sometimes ruin Testament's own combos, a necessary price to pay for its utility. To get rid of them, the opponent can either jump into them while blocking, or hit them from outside their active range. At high level play, players are well aware of which moves are best and safest to whiff and clear nets, but Testament can still try to take advantage of those times to start attacking. Testament can place up to 2 nets at the same time. His air throw and Master of Puppets super both give him voodoo dolls, which power up the aforementioned traps. The improved net is bigger and has a stronger ongoing freeze. The improved tree is bigger, inflicts poison status on hit, and most importantly is still active even after Testament gets hit. Phantom Soul summons a skull that curses the opponent when it hits. The K version is used to cover an angle that Testament usually has trouble defending, and the P version is used to inflict a curse after any knockdown. When Phantom Soul successfully curses the opponent, for a period of time, Testament's Raven will perform random attacks. The most important is the Ghost attack, which is an overhead. If it happens to come out during a block string, Testament can try to react and time a low attack for an unblockable. The curse can be removed earlier than usual if Testament gets hit, or if he decides to put a new skull on the screen. The Force Break version of Phantom Soul is one of the better Force Breaks in the game. For 25% meter, it's Testament's best option to actively create a chance for offense. It follows the opponent, stays above him at standing height, and inflicts a curse even on block. Testament can use one of his overheads to force the opponent to stand into it and eat the curse. The opponent avoids this unwelcome fate by either hitting Testament or avoiding the skull for several seconds until it disappears. EXE Beast summons a grounded creature that stomps away at the opponent. It has 2 versions, one that shows up in front of Testament and one that shows up behind the opponent regardless of their position. It can be used for harassment, but because it has a noticeable delay before it attacks, its use is very limited in neutral situations, since the opponent can easily react to it and jump away. Instead, it shines in Okizeme. From the moment its mouth closes, the attack is triggered by releasing the button, which can be delayed for a bit. By setting it up after a knockdown, Testament can force the opponent to block it when they get up, granting him huge frame advantage that allows Testament to get close and perform mix-ups. Sometimes he'll even have time to set up both versions, which will force the opponent to eat 2 mix-ups in a row. Testament's forward P is not an anti-air like the other characters. Instead, it's one of the better overheads in the game. It's fast and can be used very well in the middle of strings. His standing D is deceptive because it looks kind of similar to his crouching D low, and also has an FRC point to fake it and really go low. These two overheads, combined with crouching K and crouching D, provide Testament with effective mix-up ability as long as the Okizeme setups cover him. He can even mix in his ground throw, which starts a full combo. Rough to Warrant is a new teleport move that can either make him appear in front of the opponent or behind him. It needs to be used in conjunction with the EXE Beast to mix the direction the opponent has to block it. When Testament doesn't have traps scattered around him, his defensive tools are very situational and not very good at getting him out of tight pressure. He lacks a real grounded anti-air and has to either try his luck with properly spaced crouching S or preemptively jump and meet the opponent with air-to-air normals. Crouching H is a brief period during its startup where Testament becomes invincible, but he can be punished heavily if he gets hit right at the start or near the end. Warrant is a counter move that absorbs a hit, then teleports and poisons the opponent. It's slow to come out and punishable when whiffed or blocked, so it's only useful against moves that recover very slowly. In any case, Testament can also use some spare meter to cancel the move via RC or FRC. Nightmare Circular is a super that's invincible at the start and grants frame advantage on block, making it a solid reversal option. But because it's slow to come out, it can be easily punished if the opponent decides to wait for Testament to rely on it. As always, if you have any questions, please leave us a comment below. And if you like what you've seen, please take a look at our other videos, and subscribe for more character guides like this. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Guilty Bits.